What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid had a pretty phenomenal Friday, so a lot of people can be really looking at if this optimism and kind of momentum is going to roll over into this upcoming weekend. Very much could be the case based on a lot of big data that's coming out. So starting off on Monday, we do have ISM manufacturing. Current forecast is 48. ISM manufacturing more of a smaller control group versus S&P Global manufacturing that came out on Friday. So that came in at 51.8. So above 50 shows more of an expansion. So a lot of people will be really watching for how this comes out. Aside from that, on Tuesday, don't really have too much. We have a couple of Fed speakers here and there throughout the week. So that could cause some volatility, but Tuesday is going to be more of a technical driven day. And possibly that could be a good thing for Lucid. Wednesday, ISM services, ADP employment, JOLT. And so, of course, we already know that the Feds are going to be really looking at labor data as well as housing, in addition to a lot of inflationary data. But luckily enough, there really isn't that much inflationary data this week. It's going to be more of a labor-linked week, if that kind of makes sense. But ADP and JOLT, definitely the market will be caring about that. Thursday, challenger job cuts. We've seen some pretty extreme moves from that, and the market's kind of moved accordingly. So that one's going to be a big market mover, in addition to initial jobless claims. But Friday is going to be the big day for the broader market because we have building permits, housing starts. As I mentioned, that's going to be one kind of thing that the Feds really look at. We also do have non-farm payroll and unemployment. So this unemployment right here is going to be the first full month in a while, because the last couple reports, it kind of had the shutdown, so there were some excuses. This is going to be the first full month. So we'll kind of have to wait and see how things do really kind of develop. These are some of the companies putting out their earnings for this upcoming week. Nothing really crazy in my opinion that's going to really move the broader market. So it is going to be largely because of this, so these data points and how that's going to translate to potentially a January cut. And then of course over the weekend we have this developing, how kind of between Trump and Venezuela, so Maduro's capture, people don't really know how that is going to be interpreted by the broader market. Of course, the market doesn't like uncertainty. I don't personally know it fully, but I don't think Venezuela has the manpower to really fight back against the states, and they don't really have that many allies that would really go against the states. So logically, this might be kind of a just get brushed under the rug type of event, but you never know. That could obviously move the broader market. Specific to Lucid though, there is this for upcoming events. So it looks like they are going to be in San Diego Auto Show up until January the 4th. And then they have a pop-up tour, and that's going to be up until January the 11th. Nothing really kind of crazy for this. As I mentioned, in theory, it's either going to be Monday or Tuesday. That is where Lucid does put out their monthly numbers. And this is kind of some expectations. So this is my handy dandy Excel document. So in order for them to hit their target, they need to do roughly 10,000 in produced vehicles in Q4. It could be possible based on Mark's recent comments. He said that they're doing 1,000 a week, so logically that could be achieved, but still we'll have to wait and see. One thing that the market kind of was rather rough with Rivian on is they kind of did fall in line with their actual kind of targets, but still the market found fault in kind of the lower deliveries. Same goes for Lucid. So you can kind of see way back in 2022, somehow Lucid was able to muster up the strength to really produce a lot more vehicles. Went from 2,200 to just shy of 3,500, but deliveries didn't really jive, didn't kind of meet that level of demand. Same thing in 2023, same thing in 2024. Seems to be more of a common occurrence, right? Because Lucid just ramps up significantly, but they don't deliver a lot of those vehicles, and the market kind of finds that as a negative. I think personally, if Lucid hits their 18,000 target, that's going to be a pretty good thing overall. but still it's going to be one of those double-edged swords, or whatever phrase you want to kind of say, because if the deliveries don't kind of fully jive with produce, then the market might spin it as a negative narrative. So that's most likely going to come out either Monday or Tuesday, so just be somewhat aware of that. And Rivian did unveil, I think their earnings is slated for the 12th, if I remember correctly. I'll just quickly pull this up right now. So Rivian did unveil this, and it looks like it is on February the 12th. So that's usually the same time period that Lucid puts out their earnings, whether it be one day before or after. So that's kind of a good benchmark to kind of use. One big thing for this week that should really hype up a lot of tech and AI stocks is CES. So unfortunately, I kind of looked, Lucid has really fallen off, and I've kind of complained about this for a while now. They didn't participate at CES 2025. They didn't have a booth. I believe they did something kind of outside of it, but nothing official. Same goes for this time. The only thing that Lucid is doing is they are having Claudia Gast, who is the SVP strategy and business development, Lucid Motors. So other than having one speaker there, that's pretty much it. So it's rather unfortunate to see them not kind of participate, because Lucid was very proud of their technology, and this is one good place to showcase that, but they've stopped really participating. There will be a Lucid at this event though, and that is going to be through SoundHound. No different than at CES 2026. SoundHound very proud to partner with Lucid, and so they showcase their technology. So I think indirectly Lucid does get some good kind of eyes on it. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below, but nonetheless, this could be really good for the broader market, tech and AI, and Lucid went up quite significantly as well on Friday. A lot of that had to do with just tech and AI rallying. So that same type of momentum could carry forward. So ultimately, a hell of a lot of things coming out this week. So I've been kind of ranting for a while now. Getting right to it though, shorts. So going into this upcoming week, 35.52% of the free float is being shorted. Not all-time highs, but very, very close. So kind of crazy to see shorts just continuously pound Lucid. On Friday, they finally did let up. It was more near the end of the day though, but they did return about 32,000 shares. 46.3 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average sitting at 18.15. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. And then short score is 73.84. For whatever reason, if Lucid does come out based on their monthly numbers, and let's say, just for argument's sake, they were punking all of us and they actually do put out 21,000 or something surprising, then yeah, logically I could see a nice squeeze happen. Do we have Ashton Kutcher behind the scenes trying to punk all of us as investors? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And on a side note, I don't know if a lot of you got that reference for that TV show, Punked, way back in the day. Some of you might be too young for it, for that kind of reference. But nonetheless, from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be between that 12 to 12.50. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 11. So definitely there's a little bit more upside than down. Right now, or I guess on Friday, with it closing at 11.15, it is smack dab in the middle between this pivot and this S1. So 10.31 and 11.76 is going to be the next strong support, as well as target. Aside from all that, and plus this is a one-day chart, so very strong support and resistance points. But when I did do my Friday video, I did indicate that we could be seeing a nice push higher. So I did my video when it was at like 10.80. And I said that we could be seeing a nice push to at least that 11.41. So that's still technically on the table. So you could still have a nice swing to that. So this is going to be that 200-day moving average. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart on a side note. And if it is able to get above that, quickly going over to the daily, then in theory, it will be above that 10-day moving average, showing that it's building up a little bit of momentum. Still, this damn blue line, the 50-day moving average, that is a very, very big deal for Lucid. So if it does start to build up some good momentum, just watch for that. So the 50-day moving average is currently sitting at 1409. Still, you never know. If the market starts to truly believe in a 25 basis point cut for the upcoming January meeting based on the data, Trump, let's say, doesn't escalate things with Venezuela, and everything just gets brushed under the rug for that, then yeah, in theory, you could see the market really move higher because of all that. So let me know your general thoughts overall. Realistically, I do feel like this is going to be a fairly volatile week, but we will be most likely landing between kind of this range. So quickly pop right back over here. So realistically, I do feel that we could be between this R1 and the pivot. So between 1322 and 1176. So I don't really see kind of new lows coming this week, but I don't really see any FOMO really kicking in Lucid's case, unless they do somehow, for whatever reason, produce more than 20,000 overall for 2025. So if they're able to hit the mark, then definitely they deserve a round of applause, and I will give them that for sure. But realistically, I can't see it getting above that 1322. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.